You guys have to know, sometimes strong hands cry.
It's all right. All right.
It's a lot that went into today. A lot. And I won't ruin it with my emotions, but I am very emotional. For a good reason, though. I'm so blessed, y'all. Extremely blessed. I promise on everything. Beyond my wildest dreams. And I can go on and on about the blessings that I'm able to partake in. So I don't want to just ruin this event with my emotions, so I asked a couple people to come and to kind of help me out to explain this idea that we talk about, turning liabilities into assets, right? So some people who know me before prison. You guys making, or why is it echoing?
Just feedback. Go ahead.
Turn it down some. Yeah, just they may can talk to you about this guy who's over here looking all clean. Life didn't start like this, I promise. It didn't start like this, nephew. No. I don't know where I learned to make bad choices and choices that land a person in prison for life. Where did I learn that? I can't trace it back. All I can say is this new information that's coming out about early childhood trauma and so on and so forth. It just describes my life. So, I don't even supposed to go into this right now. I'm just supposed to give you guys some information and then pass it on. But so early childhood trauma. So for myself, like the first time I was introduced to trauma, I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. My mother was shot 4 times. Thank God she survived. Thank God she survived. But what does that do to a young child? Right? What does that do to a kid? 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, they don't remember nothing. They don't know what's going on. So I'll tell y'all a story. Like I ended myself in prison with 29 years of life. I learned how to communicate with violence very early. There was no walking away. If I walked away, it was only to go get my pistol. Because I learned that in the street. And it's not good. So I asked myself, I'm in prison, I got a life sentence. I said, man, what happened to you? What the heck happened to you? I'm looking around, like, man, what's going on? This is like, what's going on? And I just had to trace these stories back to, like, I had to do a trace of, what's it called? I don't know, some psychologists call it the pain points of your life, right? Right? Trace back to the pain points in your life. And I start hitting these points. Things that I stuffed so far in my pocket. I never wanted that stuff to come out. I never wanted to reveal that my father shot my mother 4 times, point blank range, in front of me. I went through life like it didn't happen. Now maybe it's not such a big thing. At least that's what I told myself. But when I learned that, another pain point, nobody comes home crying because somebody did something to them. Or at least not nobody like me, right? And if you do, you just do it once or twice. And everybody kick your butt until you get your butt back outside. And may take you out there to the problem kid, right? So after them times, doing that so many times, I had an older sister, y'all. Rest in peace, my sister. And I'm gonna say one more time for my auntie's birthday today. She passed away. We gonna get to that. But yeah, these things taught me how to communicate with violence, y'all. When I was little, growing up, and I didn't understand what was happening with me. And I put myself in these positions. This was a good place. This is in prison. This is a good place. This is what we call the healing circle. This is where I learned how to do this stuff. Pain points. Understand, man, what happened to you. You didn't come in this world to be a negative, a liability. Come on, man. All this creativity in this room. You're not coming in this room to be a liability. Sell dope all our life. Shoot people. Rob people that we feel like need to be robbed. Man, that's so unfortunate, man. I wasted 24 years of my life. But forget what I wasted. What about the people that I hurt? My God, man, we cannot change some of the stuff that we've done. We can't change it. We can't change it. Every time the people see my paperwork, you can't change that. I had to fight with the prison people. Hey man, every time they see me, they reach up this paper and they talk about something that happened in 1995. I can't change that. But every day forward, what I can do is I can work my butt off to make sure that there's no more people being hurt like the people that I hurt. And there's no more people that gotta feel like they're locked into these decisions. Thank you, brother. They're locked into these decisions. This is all I can do. This is all I know. Man, that's not true. That's not true, brother. It's not true. Come and talk to us. It's not just me. That's the beauty of this thing. When I went to prison, man, look, I've learned from people from all over this country, from all over this world. And I'm sorry, y'all. Look, like I say, it's a lot that goes into today. I promise. Yeah. I promise. But we did it, and we're here. But I learned from people all over this, like this land. Prison taught me, I have an international education now, right? I talk to people from everywhere, and I feel like, and then, so the reason why we're here, we're talking about turning liabilities into assets, because there's prisons all over the United States, y'all. I thought it was just me. Then I went and I met other people. Then I started sitting in these circles. I started talking to these brothers. Some of them here. I started understanding they've been through some of the stuff I've been through. And guess what? How shameful is how hurt that I felt about when I realized the impact of my violence, impact of my negativity, the impact of my liabilities. My daughter is here, right? Oh my God, I left this kid in her mother's womb. Man, y'all don't understand what I'm saying. We got to turn our liabilities into assets, and we can do it. If I tell you some of the things that I've done, even while I'm still incarcerated, really motivated by this individual right here, Mr. Lonnie Morris, right? I'm telling you guys are going to hear from this guy. Powerful. So, the reason why I'm here, the reason why we're here, we just formed a new organization called Returning Citizen Association. We meet every week. I'll let you guys be our members. And this is a fundraiser event. That's what I wasn't going to tell y'all from the beginning before I started crying. It's a fundraiser event for a new organization we just formed called Returning Citizen Association. And our goal is to create a quarterly publication. A quarterly publication. It's our proof of concept right here. Another thing, y'all gotta understand me. We in Silicon Valley, so when I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in Pittsburgh, California. I'm coming out to different cities in the Bay Area all my life. I did not really understand Silicon Valley, y'all. We stuck on the rocks and drugs and stuff. We got people making billions of dollars right in our backyard. And we so creative. Where our apps at? We finna do it, y'all. Where our stuff, our tech. We ain't no dummies, man. Come on, man. This brother done created organizations inside prison that changed my life. So I'm talking about turning our assets, our liabilities into assets. And for the people we've made it ourselves into assets, I want to give a shout out to our brother Donald Fraser from Boss. Some of his representatives are here right now. He's sick, he couldn't make it. But man, this brother invested in me, y'all. I promise, he invested in me in ways that I met this brother inside No More Tears. So Lonnie Morris is the founder of No More Tears. Stand up, brother. Everybody see this, brother. Give him a hand, y'all. Please. So Lonnie Morris is the founder of No More Tears. It's an organization that was created inside San Quentin State Prison maybe 20 years ago? 21 years ago. The brother did 46 years. 44 years, he just came home, y'all. But this dude is my hero. I don't know when I got to San Quentin. I just gotta be honest with y'all. We have a love-hate relationship. It's like brothers, uncles. He like my big uncle, right? I'm serious. I'm gonna be honest with him. So, well said. No More Tears, yo. So he inspired me because I always wanted to be a businessman. I always wanted to create things. I was in prison when I woke up. When I woke up and got my education on and all that stuff, this is what it's all about, right? But now it's like, how can I do it legitimately, though? I don't no longer want to run from the police. And I don't want them taking my money that I'm going to earn. So I'm not going to cheat them. He showed me, look, he said, no, he didn't show me. He demonstrated by what he was doing. He created an organization on the inside called No More Tears. In fact, my founder, with a lot of different individuals that you're going to see in the room, you're going to hear from. And then the other organization was Real Choices. So that let me know we can do this thing before we come home. So you're about to hear from my wife. We did some things before I came home. And thank God we did, y'all. Because the next thing coming up is, our goal here is to create this quarterly magazine featuring Returning Citizen Association. Well, it's by Returning Citizen Association. Our name right now is Returning Citizen Association. We don't know if that's going to be our name. As far as the magazine, because we got to do the whole copyright things to find out, do anybody have it? But the goal is to get this inside the institution for free. To all the men and women still struggling with incarceration that want to change their liabilities into assets. Some of us don't know how to do it. For many years, I still was living my negative lifestyle. I was still living according to prison code and street code. But I'm doing a lot of good stuff, y'all. And I'm telling you, we had this one class in No More Tears. It's called tell me what his name is.
Core values versus situational values.
Core value versus situational values. And our slang name is street value, or societal value versus street values, right? Hey man, look, this thing is so real. So what happened is, I was faced with a moment, y'all. I was faced with a moment of truth. And I'm still healing. Just to let y'all know, I'm still healing. So at that time, I still was healing. Man, I got attacked on the tier. Physically attacked. I'm the littlest person in our crew. Always, me and Lonnie, whatever. Lonnie's just Lonnie. Let's be honest with y'all. But anywhere I go, I'm probably the littlest person. So person probably thought I'm the weakest link. He didn't know how crazy I was, though, in my past, you know? And I needed a little bit more help, a little more work. So, man, I reacted. But I didn't react then, though. And he got caught. He didn't get caught. I didn't get caught. My homeboy got caught. Some other people got caught. What they doing getting in it? I didn't ask you to get in it, right? But guess what? This what happened, y'all. This was a moment of truth. Street values versus societal values. I'm in the prison screaming, I want to be a returned citizen. I'm in the prison saying, I want to be home with my children. Let y'all meet my daughter right here. Stand up. This Tierra right here now. I want to come home to my children and my grandchildren. But I'm still living prison code, y'all. Because prison code, you can't let nobody do nothing to you. You can't let nobody do it. I don't care how positive you are. Because if he do it, somebody else gonna do it. At least that's the thinking going on in your head. Y'all believe me now, huh? Yeah, but there's options though, you know? There's options where you as a man, you still got options. I wasn't there yet. But I got there. You know what I did? I looked in the mirror. People came to my door talking about they want to find out what's going on. Everything's locked up. I done caused a whole ruckus. No telling how many people got visits going on, whatever. So the idea was, man, Ricky, you know, I said, I don't know what y'all talking about. Get away from my cell. What you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. They don't tell on ourselves, right? Come on, man. Do y'all hear me? Man, but then I had to think about it. Ricky, street values versus society values. I want to be a returned citizen. I'm better than this. The goal was turn yourself in and you can get somebody else that's out the hole out, that should have been there, or he's never coming back. This place is going to be locked down and we're going to do all this stuff. Now the old me, like, I don't care, do your job. Like, that's what we learned in the street, this numbness to real value, like real stuff. It's like a numbness. I don't care. I ain't listening. You know, right? So, man, something stepped in me. And I said, you know, I need to step it up right here. This is it. This is it. Take me, sir. You know, I went down there, but I was still messed up, to be honest. I didn't go right there. I said, well, could we go after count? You know what I'm trying to do, right? Can we go after count, right? But that's all I needed, though. I need to make a choice, a right choice. And that right choice is about building character, y'all. So when I made that choice, right then, like from that moment forward, I started living according to society values. Like, you know, it's not the street code, it's not the prison code, it's the penal code that matters. It was the penal code that got me in prison. You know, and that's why we call ourselves returning citizens, y'all. We want to be citizens in every sense of the word. Like today, I'm a case manager. I just got a promotion in my job, y'all. You know, yeah. I had plans to come out and do this entrepreneurial stuff. We had a car accident. We had a car accident in December. She's still in the crutches right now. She just had surgery. And I spent 2 months, because of COVID, I had so much saved time. So I spent 2 months off work. And man, I'm not a sit around person, y'all. You know what I did while I was in prison? Like, I'm not a sit around person, y'all. We have been working. We have about 8 or 9 publications that we have. I'm not done, so like I'm still working. So one of my proudest ones is the children's book that we have. Like, we just made a children alphabet and numbers book that we're hoping to lift the literacy rate. Like, we found out that California got the lowest literacy rate. That's not right. We got too many resources. So whatever I miss, hopefully I can come back and explain to y'all. But our whole purpose here is about turning liabilities into assets. We putting our money and our heart on what we believe in, you know. And we're going to ask for y'all support. We thank y'all for buying a ticket. We thank y'all for, you know, any kind of donations y'all made. And we're saying that it's not just us. Like, we got people already calling us from the prison talking about, hey, I heard y'all are helping people coming home. We said, yeah, we are. But the thing about it is, we partnered. Because Lonnie and his team is what changes the mindsets, what helped change the mindset with the workshops. David and his team, which is bona fide, is what go pick people up from prison. Right? I'm talking about people who want to be connected to a returning citizen community. I didn't want to go back to my family. Y'all, I said the key to turning your liabilities into an asset, the first prerequisite is to change your zip code. A lot of people don't believe me or don't agree with me because we're family oriented people, right? But I had to change my zip code, y'all. I had to. Like, that's what's going to make me be successful. I went to go visit my family, but guess what? It's a visit. I learned my street stuff from my family. So you gotta understand, understand what I'm saying? Like, this stuff get taught young. And then we think it's the only thing to do. It's the only way. But it's another way. And I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let's see. We have a program here. Next, I'm going to let my wife come up and, because, she is one of my best kept secrets. Let me tell y'all. Right? This company started in 2015, right? Because I started saying I'm going to publish a book in 2015. And it all started about, trying to leave a legacy for my kids. I still was in prison. I didn't know I was coming home. 2016, I didn't have a parole date. I wasn't going to the board. And some of the life help y'all understand that. But the book was about leaving a good legacy. And it just morphed into a whole company. And here we are going to do this magazine. So y'all are in the seats. Let me show y'all. So Returning Citizen Association, our mission is to increase the economic, political, and social capital of returning citizens, right? So we're talking about economic, we're talking about jobs, we're talking about helping people be employed. That's why we got Boss in the back there. Boss, Donald Frazier got sick. We're going to lift him up in prayer. But Boss is a huge, important organization. They help people coming home with a job. With whatever you need, get connected to Boss. And yeah. So let me just turn it over to my wife and figure out, how do I introduce her? She's on crutches, so it's gonna be hard for her to move around. But man, she's my best kept secret. Yeah, I couldn't have done all this stuff without her. I promise you, I couldn't. How could you though? I couldn't have done all this stuff without you guys. Thanks to Mick and No More Tears as our sponsor. Thanks to Bonafide as our sponsor. Thanks to Boss as our sponsor. And we're going to, we have one more date set. Or, no, two more dates set in this tour. Alright. Are you ready? This is my best kept secret. I don't know what to say, but I think she's going to say it all. You got it?
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. My name is Andrea Gaines, and I'm Richard's wife. And I am here today to tell you a little bit about who we are and some background. My leg. I don't want to open my leg in front of people. Can you get me I need that. Just let me stick it up, put it on the bottom. Right on the bottom, baby. Yeah.
Need my jacket to cover stuff?
Now, I've known Ricky for a while now. I first met him while I was in junior high. It was 1991, so we were young. And I must say, out of all of the men that I dated, there wasn't that many, no, at Oakland, and my favorite of all. And I don't say that because he's in the room. I say that because it's real. But he was the first person to give me gifts. But even in his gift giving, he was like so thoughtful. He gave me 2 nugget rings, a card with money in it, and a cute little paragraph about his love for me. And it was written in his own handwriting. And it was just little things like that that were many examples of his generosity. At home, I had an absent father and a mother who was addicted to drugs at the time. So this relationship meant a lot to me. We spent a lot of time together, and for the first time that I can remember, somebody genuinely cared and paid attention. One day I did what I had always done. I went to the payphone and paged him to come. And this time he didn't come back. Like, he didn't call or he didn't come. And so the next day the same. And I must have paged him like 1,000 times. But nothing. I just never heard from him. So I finally reached out to the only family member I knew at the time, which was his uncle. And what did he do? Did he tell me anything about Ricky? No. All he did was try to talk to me himself. He just tried to get me. He never told me nothing. So I started thinking, like, well, what did I do? Why didn't he come back? Like, what was wrong with me? You know, did he have somebody else? So eventually, you know, I stopped waiting, but I never forgot about us. Throughout my years and all my relationships, this was the only one that I would go back to and reminisce on. Now, 2 kids and a failing marriage later, I'm living in Texas, and I find myself at the darkest, most lowest point in my life. I would have these visions of seeing myself in a straitjacket, like in one of those mental institutions, you know, like with all the padding. And the devil was surely trying to get me, like kill, steal, and destroy, like the word says. You know, but you see, at the time I was in an abusive marriage, mainly verbal, but abusive nonetheless. And since I was so deep in, I couldn't see nothing. But praise God that our spirits are stronger than we know. The Spirit of God lives inside each and every one of us, whether we'd like to admit that or not. You know, I had this strong sense to reach out to my childhood friend. And in reaching out to her, my spirit led me down a path that I needed. I needed to remember who I was and where I came from. And that began a healing process. And in reconnecting with my past, someone mentioned that Ricky had asked about me. And when I actually did speak to him, it was like no time had passed. We just picked up where we left off. So, in speaking to him, he was so different, but yet the same. And now I'm not one to, you know, he was different but the same. Only now he is in prison, residing in a cell, serving a life sentence for taking somebody's life. Now, I'm not one to judge. I knew he was living a lifestyle of survival. All I wanted to know was why. Like, why didn't you call me 19 years ago? Like, I waited a long time for you. But he did explain he came back because he was sent. He did explain that he didn't come back because he was sent to Byron's Boy Ranch, a jail for juveniles for 9 months. He also said that he did come back for me at my aunt's house, but she had moved. And his story checked out because she did move. He said that he had never stopped loving or caring for me. So with those 2 pieces of information, it healed me, you know, and it also ignited something in me that was long missing, which was love of self. And I'm so grateful and appreciative to God for that. Fast forward to the formation of our company, Capital Gains LLC. It was officially founded in 2016, like Ricky had mentioned earlier. And while he was still incarcerated, we did the work. You know, he was the brains with the vision, and I was a willing conduit. But how could I not be? You know, he was so passionate about creating something of value and leaving a legacy for his kids. Where's Tierra? And just leaving something for them, you know, which is very important to him. Now, and then also for them to know, like, the opportunities for everyone and the possibility, no matter whether you're in prison or you're not. Back then, we would always talk about him having his own company. And we even toyed around with names for a nonprofit, but were naturally led to the startup of a publishing company that began with his own book. With his guidance and enthusiasm, we began the process. At one point, he even gave me a prototype of his book that he created in computer class. It was really outdated technology. But we worked with what we had at the time. And on my side, you know, I would like photocopy books and, you know, information and mail it to him so that we could try to get this together. Now, I don't know who here has seen Hustle and Flow. That movie, Hustle and Flow. So in the movie, my coworkers would poke fun at me. And in that movie, they would quote a line from that movie. and it has Terrence Howard and Ludacris. And there's a scene where Terrence Howard is trying to pitch a song through a cassette tape, Skinny Black, which is Ludacris. And there's a part where Skinny Black tells him, you know, everybody's got to have a dream, you know, and my coworkers would make fun of me, poke at me, like, you know, he's in prison and I'm living my life, like, everybody got to have a dream. And I'm like, that's okay, you know, because I knew one day Ricky would get out of prison. I just knew he would. That's all right, though. But imagine trying to create and manage a company with it, a 15-minute phone call, you know, letters, visits. It's such a tedious process. But publishing took on a life of its own. So within a year, we had published 5 books. It was hard work, but it was worth it. And we were also able to do something that you can't put a price tag on, which is like boost the morale and the self-esteem of his fellow brothers that were incarcerated. You know, you just can't put a price on that. So we began the publication of a magazine, and something happened. The SB 261 Youth Offender Bill was passed. This bill would require the Board of Parole Hearings to conduct a parole hearing for offenders sentenced to prison who committed their crimes when they were under the age of 23 years old. This was a game changer because Ricky committed his crime when he was 18. So he fits the criteria, you know, and there's hope for him to come home now. And all the work that he had put in for redemption, self-awareness, change could be demonstrated and backed and supported by actual evidence. Things like his associate's degree, you know, certificates, youth programs, whatever else I'm forgetting because it's a lot. And I remember sometimes I'd be, you know, wanting to come visit, and he'd be like, oh no, you know, the kids are coming this Saturday. Or he's like, oh no, he'd be helping with No More Tears, some event that's happening on Saturday. And I'm like, hey, I'm flying from Texas. You know, he's like, well, you know, the guys, and, you know, we need to do this. And I was like, okay. So, but, you know, so he started preparing to go before the parole board and try to explain to them why he's no longer a danger to anyone. It was a lot of hard work, and I was so proud of him. And then he gets hit with like heavy news. His mom passes away suddenly. And it was March of 2018 when she had passed, but he was found suitable for release 2 months later. And 11 months after that, he was released from prison in 2019. A free man, but not able to see his mom. It was very heartbreaking. So I can just tell y'all, during the 10-year period that I knew Ricky when he was in prison, we would call his mom often. And I would shed tears just listening in on them, talking to each other. You know, their love for one another was powerful and strong. And the longing that they had for each other was a lot to bear to just listen to. It was hard, and it was hard not to have like a mini breakdown each time because the way they would talk to one another. You see, she was diagnosed with dementia, and every time he spoke of her to other family members, it was all doom and gloom. And, you know, oh, she's not doing well, oh, how she wouldn't remember him, you know, she didn't know what was going on. But every single time they talked to each other, all he had to say was mama. And she would respond to him. You know, she would wake up. It was like she'd be asleep, but she was awake. And he could understand her, and she could understand him. You know, and you couldn't, sorry about that. You couldn't put, there's no way to explain what that did to somebody when, you know, other people are telling you that she can't make it. Like she's, you know, they're already putting her to death basically. But when he would talk to her, she would come alive and she would understand what he was saying. You know, and it was one of the saddest things personally that I have ever witnessed, you know, because they loved each other a lot. You know, and a fellow inmate once told him that with big losses come big wins. Now, I believed in Ricky then, and I believe in Ricky now. He did the work to be able to prepare to go before that parole board and communicate what was in his spirit and who he was as a human being. I remember when we would go over what that looked like, and I would be beyond impressed. beyond impressed. And yeah, there was discouragement because there were those that told him, expect to be denied the first time you go before the parole board. He knew others who had gone before the board and they were denied. Then there were those who were found suitable for parole because there's 120 days for all these different people to review the decision, and it can be overturned. And he knew someone that had happened to. But despite the discouragement, he would always say, it's a long shot, but at least I got a shot. And he prepared, he was in tune with himself. Not only was he prepared for what they were going to hit him with, but he had like a plan A, plan C, plan D, E, F, he had all these different plans for when he was released and to stay out in a successful way. All of that takes skill and a level of preparation that I cannot pretend to comprehend, but it deserves its credit. That's why the quarterly publication of our magazine that would be created by Returning Citizens Association is so vital. This gives us the opportunity to create the bridge of information that would be so helpful. The example would be Ricky. Personally, there were so many people who felt like being with someone who is in prison is 100% a liability. He's a criminal, a liability. The crime was murder, 100% a liability, a no-no. But because I trusted in myself, my choices, I had the faith that believing in Ricky and bringing him into my family's life, knowing he had killed somebody in the past, would still be an asset and not a liability. And remember, I did say in the beginning that I was at a dark point in my life, seeing myself in a straitjacket and going to the crazy house. Around that time was when I started talking to Ricky and hearing the strength in his voice and the passion that he had to live and to fight and for others, not just, himself. Everybody, like other people. It ignited a desire for love of self. It ignited something in me, like to love myself, me. I used to have anxiety attacks, and I no longer do. I used to take medication for that, and I no longer do. My income has increased. That's nice. My youngest is a thriving 4.0 student with goals and determination. I own my own business. I own my own home. I own my own car. I have good credit. And I'm still struggling with my weight. But, once my knee heals, I'm going to hit the gym. I am. I'm going to hit the gym. I will. Now, I'm so honored to be here. And also I appreciate the collaboration of all the sponsors that are here. We haven't done these things alone. And Ricky has not done it alone. Every single one of you here, I don't know the specifics, but I know some, have had a huge impact in motivating him and inspiring him to be a better man, then and now, and there's so many in-betweens that I didn't even touch on. I would like to thank everyone here in advance for your generosity and your support and taking the time to be here with us, because it's such an exciting time for all of us and Ricky as well. We're just starting out. Ricky's home now, so can you imagine where he will be in 2 years? Thank you, everyone, and God bless.
A key to my own place, after I've been living in a cell with somebody else for for exactly 24 years. That's the other thing too. I came home on February 4th, 2019. I was arrested on 1995, February 4th. Y'all looking at something here. I don't even know what's going on. And it's been blessings on top of blessings though. Once I cleaned my act up though. I still tried to live a crazy life while I was in prison. Man, it kept getting me more in trouble. I finally found something that I'm good at. Publishing, writing, helping other people get their story out. I'm going to do this to the day I die. And I also have a job. I have 2 jobs. So I have one job. I work as a specialty mental health services where we provide that service for older adults, right? I've just been promoted, thank God, I'm going to be helping other people now the unhoused people get housing. with this these subsidies that's going on, right? It's a beautiful thing. Some of my supervisors call it the unicorn program because they like everybody wants to do this. And I have a second job. I work for this place in San Francisco where they help women who's system impacted, right? So I have this full-time stuff going on, but this is in my heart. This is gonna happen. Donald Fraser say, I'm gonna give you your house, I'm gonna give you a key to your house when you come home. He gave me a key to my studio apartment right here in Oakland, California. 2 days after I came home. I mean, I've been crying ever since, right? Because you guys don't know what kind of lift that gave me. Like, I'm a go-getter, but you still need support. So what that did is that, and he didn't ask me how long I need to stay, right? He asked me, I was already maybe a year in, so he said, Rick, well, how much time you think you need? I said, we're down to about 2 years. He said, you got it, brother. And didn't ask any questions, and he came over here checking on me. Why? Because he invested in the assets. This is what we do. We asking y'all to invest in the assets, and assets appreciate. They grow, right? They grow. And they're going to be able to, create other assets. So the man gave me the spot 2 years. My goal was to save all of my money for 2 years. Impossible. Not impossible, but I didn't do it. But thank God on that second year, right? February I got out February, got the place here. February I got my own place in my own name. With all this criminal background on me, y'all, I was scared to death. Because I didn't want to get under nobody else's name. I didn't want to get on nobody else's stuff. On my card, everything in my name. I want my name to be good. I'm tired of running from the police. Hiding my money. It's in the bank, y'all. You want to rob me? Go rob the bank. So anyway, the man let me stay there. I got my own place, and I've been in my own place probably over a year now. I've been home 3 years. So I got but yeah, so that's the reason why we are part of this in Oakland, California. Boss open their doors to me. Oakland open their homes to me. San Francisco, same story. We'll be going to San Francisco next month. We'll talk all about that. Let me bring Katie up. Tell them all about you. This is our returning citizen member, board member, Khalil Dallas.
I really don't know where to start, to be honest. It's been so crazy and so hectic, but so beautiful. Yes, the struggle is beautiful. I did grow up here in Oakland. Born and raised everywhere in Oakland. I am from Bushrod Park. I don't know if anybody knows where that is, but hey, I never left this place, and I came back. I say that to say, growing up here, I did everything everybody did in the streets. Unfortunately, that did excuse me, that did give me a life sentence in prison. I didn't know I was going to be this emotional. I did not know I was going to be this emotional. I like it right now. I'm going to wait till that.